So, in hindsight, it turned out that this guy was lying to us and created a very big mess and a huge problem for the United States of America.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
Yep, as he also promised, it's going to lead to, of course, the stability of the Middle East to invade and attack Iraq. That really worked out well for us, didn't it? Well, it didn't, as now, finally, the United States has gotten the gumption to say no to Bibi, who repeated those same lines with Iran, as there has been a slurry of propaganda, disinformation, and lies that has been thrown at us in the buildup to a larger moment where Donald Trump had a very important decision as his cabinet was brokered. Half of the cabinet wanted war. The other cabinet wanted diplomacy, and it looks like right now, from the reporting that we're getting from the New York Times, diplomacy actually won. Today is a great day. Let's look into the facts. Let's look into the details here because they are vast. They are very important, and they do signal that Donald Trump, in my opinion, absolutely made the right move in this particular situation. As we have this article from Reuters that reads, Trump opposed a planned Israeli strike on Iranian nuclear sites. Yep. All of this as we're finding out the news that there was people within his administration that stepped in and had to say, hey, no, please, this is not a good idea. Let's not repeat the same mistakes that George W. Bush did in 2001 here, as it looks like finally the deal has been made here. This is great. This is big, but it does highlight how this House is divided. There are internal conflicts happening within the Trump administration that are important to point out here, as antiwar.com has a very interesting article written. Trump's national security team is a House divided against itself, as we're getting reporting from the New York Times highlighting how Tulsi Gabbard, Peak Headset, J.D. Vance, and Susie Willis were the ones that said, hey, yeah, you know that huge endeavor that's going to bring instability, high energy prices, and just absolute death and destruction on the face of this earth, while destabilizing and creating more proxy conflicts between the East and the West that will destabilize and question the future of the U.S. petrodollar? You know that thing? That might not be a good thing. It might not be good. I don't think so. Maybe we just don't do that. As Rubio and Waltz were on the other side saying, war, bomb, 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 bomb. And what did you expect, especially from Rubio? As soon as Rubio got appointed, I'm like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. This is not the person that I would have wanted to be in there as Secretary of State here. And you guys are seeing why my criticism. And everyone was telling me, no, look, he's going to be good. He's going to be different. He's going to be changed. I'm like, this is the same guy that hangs out with Lindsey Graham. This is the same guy that was buddy with John McCain. You think he's going to just switch his positions? And of course, as we're learning from these New York Times admissions here, that's not the likely case and scenario here, as now we are getting insights into a lot of the neocons that are finally being ousted, as we covered previously a story of Laura Loomer coming to Donald Trump with binders of people that were unfaithful to Donald Trump. And guess what? It was the neocons. It was the never-Trumpers. It was the people who wanted the Bush-era Republican-style party that has depraved and robbed this country of so much prosperity and civil rights. Yeah, there still is that kind of faction in there, but now we get a bigger picture into the important role that Loomer played, that Tulsi Gabbard is playing here, as previously there was some criticisms on Tulsi Gabbard, who during the time when she was not in office was detesting the airstrikes against the Houthis, and now, according to the signal leaks that have come out, she's kind of indifferent about it and going along with the programming, but not all of it. As right now, it's fair to say that there definitely is a civil war brewing within Trump's administration with how to handle Iran here. Now, this is interesting here, because the way that this is going to be playing out is going to be fascinating. And again, there's other potentials that we got to worry about now, because with Trump officially waving this off and Bibi understanding, hey, I got this. I was able to get Iraq after 2001. What happened in 2001? A major galvanizing new Pearl Harbor-like attack on the United States. I think we're in the realm again of maybe understanding there needs to be some kind of big provoked event now if we're going to get our way, as Israel is determined to try to attack and destroy the Iranian nuclear facilities. And they will probably try to go back to the drawing board now, as they, according to this New York Times article, thought they had it. They had it in the bag. As this article by the New York Times reveals a lot of really important personal information, saying Trump waved off Israeli airstrikes after divisions emerged in his administration. The byline reads, Israel developed a plan for attacking Iran's nuclear facilities that would have required U.S. assistance. No, that's not true at all. Okay, alrighty, red flag, fake news. It didn't require U.S. assistance. It was the United States doing it for them. Right? Israel's like, yeah, we're going to go bomb some of it, but your tax dollars, America, you're going to bomb them too. And then you're going to protect us when they get mad. That was their plan. That's like, okay, we're going to do this. And then all the military experts were saying, hey, you're not going to do this in one strike here. This is going to take a significant long-term approach here, since there's a lot of facilities, a lot of them are underground, there's a lot of disinformation. It's gonna be a very huge endeavor, since Iran is the 3 times the size of Iraq, and some people allege 4 times the size of its military. Before reading this article and talking about the deeper insights here, though, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop, one of the best shops out there, as we have things like tea. A lot of people like coffee, but coffee has a lot of caffeine. Some people are trying to do lower caffeine, and they're like, yeah, tea's pretty great here, but you got to be careful but what kind of tea you drink here. So as soon as you go to wearechange.shop, you click right here, bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself some awesome microplastic-free tea, and this is why we decided to call our tea Sip Happens, mainly because I got huge IRS problems. I was like, man, Sip Happens. And the byline reads, don't get tea bagged. As, of course, huge microplastics are in tea bags. There's this article here by the Daily Mail today saying, doctor issues major warning to tea drinkers. Even if you drink just 1 mug a day. Dr. Mark Hyman claims a cup of tea contains 11.6 billion microplastics. Yep, that's because it's in those little frickin' bags there. And listen, I love tea. And I'm like, oh, okay, how do I get my tea? I used to drink some of the worst teas out there. I used to just have those little bags. Don't do that. It's horrible for you. It's horrible for your health. Absolutely awful. And that's why we designed a bag that doesn't have microplastics. That's really awesome. And it's loose leaf. So you're going to have to get either something that allows you to, of course, siphon off the tea here without putting it in plastic. You could just do loose leaf too, and you could just strain it. Or you could just buy one of those little tea balls as well, and then you put them in there, and hence why our mascot is, balls. Again, it's a sign of fertility. It's a sign of health. I really, really, really do enjoy tea. It's hard to get good tea that's organic, that's natural, that's not filled with microplastics, that's not filled with glyphosate, and that's why me and Jeremy from the Court of Ring worked really hard to produce this product, and it's a really awesome, great product. Lemon ginger is one of my favorites as well. Super good for you. Lots of health benefits from tea as well. Wearechange.shop. Go get it. Go support it. And just try it. I'll bet as soon as you try it, you're going to love it. And this is already like a bag that we did multiple runs with. So we had a lot of tea here that you get from this just small package that really does pack a punch in more ways than one. Now, let's go back to the article here, because I think it's important to detail here what the New York Times is saying, as they write. Israel planned a strike against Iran nuclear sites as soon as next month, but was waved off by President Trump. Good decision. In recent weeks, in favor of negotiating a deal with Tehran to limit its nuclear program, according to administration officials and others briefed on the discussions. Mr. Trump made his decision after months of internal debate over whether to pursue diplomacy or support Israel in seeking to set back Iran's ability to build a bomb. No. Why are you writing it that way? Or support Israel and do the fighting for them, bombing and starting another war in the Middle East. That's what it should have said here, because that's exactly what they wanted to do. Quote, at a time when Iran had been weakened militarily and economically. They are weakened militarily, and as we told you, the plan, specifically getting rid of Hezbollah, getting rid of Syria, getting rid of the Houthis, was a step-by-step plan that would have, of course, led a road down directly to Tehran. That was the goal. That was the initiative. That was the operation that was being carried out here in lockstep, step by step, with the full direct military aid and support of the United States. Now, the United States said, "Okay, that's enough. We're not going any further here," and this is really going to piss off the Israelis here. The debate highlighted, quote, fault lines between historically hawkish American cabinet and officials and other aides more skeptical that a military assault on Iran could destroy the country's nuclear ambitions. Yes, a lot of scientists, military experts were like, there's no way you could just knock it out and just get it done in one day and then try to avoid a larger war here, because the larger war here was exactly what would have happened here. Quote, it's resulted in a rough consensus for now against military action, with Iran signaling a willingness to negotiate. Now, the negotiations have pretty much already failed. Now, this is why this article is so important, because if you look at the negotiations, they're going to continue now. But the Iranians in Oman specifically met in separate rooms, and they came out with their own deal. They were like, okay, listen, nuclear-free Middle East. We'll get rid of our nuclear weapons. You get rid of yours. Israel gets rid of theirs. End of that. And, of course, nothing was done with that. And then Donald Trump in the United States came back to Iran saying, okay, you're going to get rid of your enrichment program. And the Iranians like, no, we're not. That's where the negotiations are at right now. So they failed. Clearly, the Iranians are like, listen, China's buying up all of our oil. Even if you try to do a new Barack Obama Iran nuclear deal, which was lucrative for us, it's not as, it might be maybe more lucrative to sell it to the world. But look, China's buying all of us out. China's buying all our energy resources. China's filling our coffers. China's making us rich right now. We don't need to make an economic deal against sanctions or our money that you're holding in the international. We don't care. China's giving us all the money here. That's where they are in negotiations. So the negotiations failed. Now Israel came to the United States saying, okay, they're not doing it. Bomb them now. We're going to bomb them. Donald Trump's like, no, we're not going to do that. That's why this is such an important key time and moment, as this really does signal a big move here that I think is absolutely moving in the right direction. As now the article continues, Israel's officials have recently developed plans to attack Iranian nuclear sites in May. They were prepared to carry them out, and at a time were optimistic that the United States would sign off. The goal of the proposal, according to the officials briefed on them, was to get back Tehran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon by a year or more. Almost all of the... And then what would happen after that year? Okay. Listen, that's what they say. Oh, yeah. Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. We're just go in there. We're going to stop them, and then everything's going to be fine. It didn't play out that way. Now they're saying the same thing. Iran, we're just going to put them back a year, and then everything's going to be fine. And then what's going to happen in a year? They're going to be like, we're going to have to do it again. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to be a full, all-out blown war, which is absolutely ridiculous. The article continues, almost all of the plans would have required U.S. help, not just to defend Israel from Iranian retaliation, but to also ensure that an Israeli attack was successful, making United States the central part of the attack itself. Yeah, the plan was literally, America, go in there, do our bombing, then protect us afterwards, and we'll do a little bit of the legwork here, but you're going to do the vast majority of it, as already the United States has defended Israel against Iran after Iran struck and attacked an Iranian diplomatic building inside of Syria. And then when they struck inside of Iran, the Iranians retaliated. Their retaliation was literally just sending rockets in the air, and they called up the United States, and the United States was like, okay, what do you want us to do? And the Iranians were like, they're just kind of flying willy-nilly. You could shoot them down. And the United States shot them down for Israel. That's what happened before. For now, Mr. Trump has chosen diplomacy over military action good. In his first term, he tore up the Iran nuclear deal negotiated by the Obama administration. But in his second term, eager to avoid being sucked into another war in the Middle East, has opened up negotiations with Tehran, giving it a deadline for just a few more months. Now, what's going to happen in a few more months here? I don't know. But shouts out to Tucker Carlson, shouts out to Tulsi Gabbard, shouts out to all of the voices that have been calling for peace here, because this is big. Peak Headset, JD Vance, Susie Willis, thank you. Bless you guys. Prayers for all of you guys who, in a time of crisis, came in and made the right decision. As soon as Tucker Carlson started issuing the warnings, I was like, this is real. This is absolutely 100% real. And we were getting very concerned and worried about the future of American diplomacy and foreign policy here under Trump's administration, which would have suckered him into creating a great folly, a great mistake that would have stayed with him for his whole entire legacy. His mindset of being a peacemaker has now been reinstated, as clearly now we're getting reports that Israel is really mad. As, of course, they created this plan, they were going forward, and Bibi even just released another video here saying, no, it's the Iranians that want to attack us. And let's be clear, we will not be eliminated, and Iran will be eliminated. That's the message that was sent out after this New York Times article, after the message was given out publicly. Hey, we're just not going to do this for you, buddy. Now, Donald Trump has been doing a lot for Israel, especially against a lot of the critics of the Israeli government. And again, there's a lot of people in Israel that don't like this government, that don't like Benjamin Netanyahu. There was huge protests that were raging, that were still going on. There's a lot of accusations about Bibi being a corrupted government official. There's a lot of Israelis that are not happy with this specific political leadership. The guy has been in power for a long freaking time. I still do believe that anytime he visits, he needs to be questioned about these lies that he told to the American people, which, according to many sources, people knew. He was lying. He was making it up out of thin air. And truly, right now, seeing these kind of propaganda statements, trying to, again, muster something up here does make me worry that, again, the Israelis really want to get rid of Iran. Iran doesn't like Israel, too. They really want to get rid of Israel, too. Let's just be honest with ourselves. There's no love lost between the two. They really don't like each other. They're declaring we can't coexist. They have a lot of space between them. I mean, for frick's sakes, they have Iraq between them. They have Syria between them. There's a vast amount of territory and land between them. You would think, like, hey guys, just freaking learn to live together. Like, stop bringing us on the precipice of a full-out war. Like, this is just ridiculous here. As this is what Bibi had to say after this New York Times story broke, highlighting how, he's not getting his way.
And the most brazen thing about this is that he issues this while he's supposedly negotiating peace with the United States. Well, Israel...
The Iranians never wanted to negotiate here. But they're like, listen, I don't want to... We got nothing to negotiate. What do you guys want to negotiate? Like...
will not be eliminated. What must be eliminated is Iran's axis of terror and its nuclear weapons program.
So Iran's axes of terror, that's a marketing Hollywood name there. Like Iran's alliances almost have been entirely decimated inside of the Middle East. Let's just be honest with ourselves. The Palestinians, the Gazans, Hezbollah, all of them pretty much obliterated. All right? Hamas, obliterated. Let's just be real with ourselves. And the Israeli army had huge successes against Hezbollah and Hamas inside of their territory. Huge. And the Israelis overwhelmingly decimated their enemies, and they were proxies of the Iranians, and the Iranians were helping them out. Okay. Then comes, of course, the vassal state that was Syria. Syria, with contested territory with Israel that Israel has now taken, also destroyed. Total failed states right now. Right before Donald Trump took office, the CIA continued with their plan here. They sent in rebels from all over the world. They sent in Uyghur Muslims from China. Okay, they sent in the Muslims from Europe and Russia, and they're like, listen, guys, we're going to liberate Syria, and now Christians are getting slaughtered there. Syria, the Syrian government that allowed the Christians to be in there, that allowed Jews to be in there, that allowed Muslims, that allowed people to actually have a little bit of somewhat freedom, was overthrown. Huge alliance with Iran That country now absolutely destroyed. Then, of course, we have the Houthis, supported by Iran, being bombarded very heavily, to the point where now there's even discussions about U.S. soldiers being sent on the ground for ground operations inside of Yemen right now. All of the proxies, and as Bibi calls them, the axes of evil, all of the proxies and all of the allies of Iran decimated. Let's just be real with ourselves. That's exactly what happened here. Now they want to get rid of Iran here.
Not only for the sake of Israel, but for the sake of our entire region and for the sake of peace in our world. Today,
listen, we all want peace. It's clear. Donald Trump chose peace here, okay? But he didn't choose what you wanted. And what you wanted is a run back of what happened in 2002. And that, to me, still deserves some bigger answers that you deserve to the American people to give us, specifically since you played a major effort lying to us, baiting us, pushing us, propelling us towards one of the gravest, biggest geopolitical mistakes that the United States has ever made in its history. Okay? This testimony saying, I could assure you 100%, we're going to go in there, it's going to be quick, it's going to be great, it's going to stabilize the region. No. Again, so far, Donald Trump passed the test here. He made the right move here. Overall, good move by Donald Trump here. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to all the people out there that have promoted diplomacy and real peace in this world. People just have to learn how to live with each other. Bombing people, destroying people's lives, and just obliterating peace is not the way forward. Today was a major day towards actually cementing Donald Trump's legacy as someone that is pushing and propelling diplomacy and peace here. And I've been saying, hey, Donald Trump's been using the stick here, and now this is the carrot. And when he's doing the carrot, when he's doing diplomacy, when he's stopping wars, and he's stopping this kind of bigger explosion and destruction of ourselves from within, that right there is when you got to say, good job, Don. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for making the right decision. Let's not do it again, please. Let's not get close to that button again. Let's not get close towards doing it again, because it doesn't work out for us. It never has worked out for us. And if you truly do care about America, you put America first. That's what I think is at stake here. If you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. I want to do another video because there's a lot of really interesting discussions happening around Harvard right now, as Charlie Kirk released some really interesting kind of commentary about the First Amendment. We're going to be talking about that in a future video. Subscribe, click the notification button to see that, and get yourself some tea. WeAreChange.shop. Sip yourself some tea as we now finally get to enjoy a little bit of semblance of peace. If you agree with what I said, share this video. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that and buying the tea, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/WeAreChange. youtube.com/WeAreChange. Sorry.